Hello. In today's tutorial, we are exploring two important types of SQL Server subqueries, correlated and non-correlated. We will use a practical example based on an employee salary dataset to illustrate how much work and when to use them. Correlated subquery. A correlated subquery is a subquery that refers to columns from the outer query. This dependency means it runs once for each row processed by the outer query. Essentially, the inner query's result is dynamically calculated using data from the current row of the outer query. This flowchart outlines how for each row in the outer query, the correlated subquery uses that row's data to compute its result dynamically. Our first example focuses on identifying employees who earn more than the average salary within their or department. Notice how the inner query depends on the outer query's department ID, meaning the average is calculated individually for each department. This is known as a correlated subquery. Let's start the code. Below is a sample complete SQL script that creates a table named employee and populates it with the provided dataset. Employees table contains four columns: employee ID, employee name, department ID, and salary. And you can execute this script in SQL Server Management Studio or any TSQL environment to create your dataset. Employee ID, an integer that serves as a primary key. Employee name, a string NVARCHAR to store the employee's name, and department ID is an integer representing the department, and salary, an integer storing the salary. The insert into statement added the 6 rows of sample data into the table. And now created a subquery example. Employees earning above their department average. What it does, this query retrieves employees whose salary is greater than average salary calculated for their specific department. How it works? The inner query let me explain for you. Okay, here. The inner subquery calculated the average salary for a department. Notice that department ID, okay, here, from the outer query is used here. This makes the subquery correlated because it runs once for each row in the outer subquery. The outer subquery then compares each employee's salary against the computed average. And now a non-correlated subquery. A non-correlated subquery is independent of the outer query. It executes on its own, returning a result that is then used by the outer query. Since it doesn't reference any columns from the outer query, it runs only once and can be computed separately. Next, we will look at a non-correlated subquery scenario. Here, the inner query computes the overall company-wide average salary just once, independent of the outer query's row. This query then selects employees with a salary above this global average. No correlated subqueries are generally more efficient because they are executed only once, making them ideal for fixed aggregate comparisons. And now non-correlated subquery example, employee earning above the company-wide average. This query retrieves employee whose salary is higher than the overall average salary across the entire company. How it works here, yeah. The inner subquery calculates the average salary for all employees. Since this calculation is independent of the outer query, it is executed only once, making it a non-correlated subquery. The outer query then selects those employees whose salary exceeds this global average. This type of the query is useful for comparing individual performance against the overall company standard. And by understanding these two types of the subqueries, you can better decide which approach suits your scenario, or whether you need a detailed row specific calculation or single aggregation value for the entire data set. This knowledge not only improves query performance but also enhances the depth of your data analysis.